You know that feeling when you're trying to share something important, maybe pouring your heart out even,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of feeling, truly heard, you just feel
Oh,
dismissed.
absolutely. Like they're already jumping to fix it.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
telling you why you shouldn't feel that way. If you've ever walked away from a chat feeling totally unheard, you know how isolating that is.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, today we're embarking on a deep dive into something incredibly powerful that can change those interactions. The art and science of emotional validation.
It sounds a bit clinical, maybe?
It can sound that way, yeah. But we've pulled together a fascinating stack of sources, everything from, psychological research to insights from self-help communities to really unpack what it is,
Mm-hmm.
why it's such a foundational skill for, well, every relationship in your life, and crucially, how to actually do it well.
And what's really interesting here, I think, is how something so fundamental, so basic to human connection is just so often misunderstood.
Right. Even when people mean well.
Exactly. Even with the best intentions. Lots of us kind of get its importance
Hmm.
implicitly, but the actual how-to can be the real challenge.
Yeah.
So our mission today is really to equip you with the insights to genuinely make others feel seen and heard.
Which sounds amazing.
It is. And it transforms your connections, even your own sense of well-being. This isn't just like being nice. It's about building real trust, fostering those deeper bonds that, really last.
Okay, so let's start there. Emotional validation. When I first heard it, I thought, oh, so I just have to agree with whatever they're feeling.
Yeah.
But that can't be right, can it? What is it, really?
That's such a common misconception and a great place to start. At its heart, emotional validation is simply the process of acknowledging and accepting another person's emotional experience.
Okay. Acknowledging and accepting.
Right. It means showing that you understand their feelings without necessarily agreeing with their viewpoint or even believing their feelings are, quote unquote, reasonable in a purely logical sense.
Ah, okay. That's key.
The goal is just to understand what they're going through without trying to talk them out of it or judge them for it. It's about recognizing and respecting their inner world, their subjective experience.
Exactly. And this is so crucial because I think that's where people get stuck.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not about saying you're right or, condoning a behavior. It's about saying, I see you, I hear you, what you feel matters to me.
Yes.
It's about separating their emotional reality from the situation itself. Like the example, if your partner feels jealous, maybe you haven't done anything to warrant it,
Right.
you can still validate the feeling. You can say, okay, I can see why you would feel that way given the situation. You're acknowledging the emotion, not agreeing with the jealousy itself.
Precisely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this skill is just vital because,
Yeah.
honestly, a staggering number of people go through life feeling profoundly unheard, misunderstood.
Yeah, that feeling is awful.
Yeah. It really is. And when we don't get that validation, it can lead to really deep feelings of isolation, depression, anxiety. It's truly foundational for healthy communication in all relationships, friends, family, partners, even colleagues.
So it's like a basic need almost.
It really provides that fundamental support and understanding.
Yeah.
You could say it's a basic human need.
So, okay, when we do this well, what's the actual payoff? Beyond just being nice, what are the real impacts? I'm curious, especially how the sources link it to mental health. That came up a lot.
Well, okay, here's a kind of surprising ripple effect. The research shows that when people feel truly validated, they're not just like happier in the moment.
Okay.
They're actually more resilient to stress and less likely to fall into those common conflict traps.
Right.
It's almost like a mental health vaccine in a way.
Wow. Okay. A vaccine.
Yeah. Validation helps people feel seen, understood.
Yeah.
It allows them to express feelings safely, which in turn builds trust and strengthens the relationship.
Right. Makes sense.
The impact is pretty significant. It leads to better communication, stronger bonds, and, yes, better mental health outcomes, even reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression.
It boosts self-esteem, too. It helps regulate emotions.
Exactly. It significantly boosts self-esteem and aids in emotional regulation, partly by fostering self-compassion.
That's powerful. It really does sound like the lifeblood of emotional connection, like some sources said.
Precisely. Or the glue that holds relationships together. For someone who feels like they're always being misunderstood, getting validation is just a profoundly compelling experience. It gives them the courage to express even difficult negative feelings without that fear of judgment.
You're creating a safe space.
Exactly, an emotionally safe space where all feelings are essentially welcome.
Okay, we've talked about the power of validation, but what happens when we miss the mark? Or worse, when we accidentally, invalidate someone's feelings? Let's talk about that dark side.
Right. Invalidation. It happens when someone dismisses or discounts or judges another person's feelings.
So telling them they're wrong to feel that way.
Yeah, or that their feelings are unreasonable, unimportant, or even just trying to fix the problem instead of listening.
Oh, the fixer, yeah.
And this has profound consequences. It makes people feel worse about themselves. It damages relationships, leads to isolation, poor mental health, difficulty controlling emotions.
Sounds like it really undermines their sense of self.
It can, yeah. Definitely contributes to low self-esteem.
It's just so easy to do, isn't it? I mean, I know I'm guilty of some of those knee-jerk responses when I'm trying to comfort someone.
We all are, probably.
Saying things like, oh, it could be worse, or don't think too much about it, just move on, or maybe you're taking this too seriously.
Mm-hmm. Classic examples.
Or even trying to tell them how to feel, calm down.
Right. The classic calm down.
If they could just calm down, they would. Therapists would be out of business, or you shouldn't feel that way, or cheer up.
Exactly. Those are all textbook invalidation examples.
Mm-hmm.
And the research is clear. They're highly ineffective.
They just make people feel worse.
Yeah, they make people feel like their emotions are wrong or irrational or exaggerated. And there's also a more subtle tactic, one that's often unintentional but still harmful.
Okay.
Spencer Greenberg coined the term light gassing.
Like gassing, like gaslighting, but lighter.
Sort of, yeah. It's when someone validates or agrees with another person's misconceptions or false beliefs in an attempt to be supportive.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, give me an example of light gassing. How does that work?
Well, it's about trying to find that, kernel of truth in their experience,
Mm-hmm.
but accidentally endorsing a potentially harmful narrative or a false belief. So someone might genuinely feel wronged, but their belief about why they were wronged might be distorted.
Got it.
So an example might be saying, oh, it was totally reasonable for you to do X because the other person made you feel bad, even if X was actually pretty harmful.
Right, you're validating the feeling, but maybe excusing bad behavior.
Exactly. Or saying you did nothing wrong, it was totally the other person's fault, when maybe the blame was actually shared.
Ah.
The challenge here, the real nuance, is to validate the feelings and the true beliefs without validating the false ones. It's a very fine line.
That's a really crucial distinction because you still want to be supportive, right?
Yep.
But you're not confirming something that isn't actually true or helpful.
Exactly.
And then there's the invalidation triple threat. This was identified by Matthew Frey. This one sounds like it just silently kills relationships.
You can, yeah.
It starts with disagreeing with a partner's feelings,
Step one.
then defending yourself instead of validating their experience.
Step two, getting defensive.
And finally, criticizing how they express their hurt, like, don't talk to me like that when they're upset. That just sounds like a downward spiral.
It absolutely is. That specific pattern just erodes trust and intimacy. It leads straight to emotional disconnection and usually way more conflict. It's a prime example of how invalidation really unravels things.
Okay, so understanding the what and the what not to do is one thing, but how do we actually put this into practice? What are the key strategies we can start using, like, today? Because it really feels like a skill, something that takes practice.
It absolutely does. And the foundation really is non-judgmental listening and active presence.
Okay, active presence, what does that look like?
It means really showing up for the person.
Mm-hmm.
Putting away distractions, your phone,
Mm-hmm. Big one.
making eye contact, using open body language,
Mm-hmm.
and truly hearing what they're saying before you even think about jumping in with a response.
Okay.
And little verbal cues help too, like, or tell me more. Just showing you're engaged and willing to understand.
That don't jump in part is so hard for me sometimes. My first instinct is often, offer advice, fix the problem.
You're definitely not alone in that. It's a
Yeah.
really common, usually well-intentioned impulse,
Right.
but our sources are pretty clear. Often people just want to be heard.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily want solutions right away.
So maybe ask.
Yeah, a good approach is to actually ask, hey, right now, do you want me to just listen, or are you looking for help, problem solving?
Oh, I like that. That's direct.
It is. And remember, throughout all this, avoid judgment. Their feelings are valid to them, even if you don't agree with their opinion or their take on the situation.
Right. Their feelings are their reality. Okay, that's a great question to keep in my back pocket. So once we're actively listening, what's next?
Well, a really crucial step is to try to identify and name the core emotion.
Put a label on it?
Yeah, try to put a label on what they seem to be feeling. Like it sounds like you're feeling really overwhelmed or you seem disappointed about that.
Okay.
It shows you're actively trying to understand their emotional landscape.
Hmm.
And if you're not sure, you can ask tentatively, like, am I right that you're feeling a bit hurt by this?
Okay, so identify the feeling. Then what?
Then it's really helpful to make them feel, well, normal for having that feeling. Normalize and understand it.
Like, it makes sense you feel that way?
Exactly. Convey that their emotions are understandable given the circumstances. Phrases like, of course you're frustrated. Anyone would be in this situation. Or, it's completely normal to feel nervous about something like this.
Right, that fights that feeling of isolation, or like you're wrong for feeling it.
Precisely. It validates their experience. And it's also helpful to gently acknowledge the emotion's source if they've shared it, just to show you're tracking with them.
Mm.
And finally, when you are speaking, make sure to use supportive and encouraging words. Things like, I'm here for you, or wow, that sounds really tough, or even just, I'm glad you're telling me how you feel.
Simple stuff, but powerful.
Very. These statements create that safe space for them to be vulnerable.
Another tool, and one I definitely forget sometimes, is to ask open-ended questions.
Yes, to encourage them to elaborate.
Like, how are you feeling about that? Or tell me more about how that made you feel, not just yes-no questions.
Right. And finally, a classic technique that really, really works. Reflect and summarize what they've said, but in your own words.
Okay, like mirroring back.
Kind of, yeah. So if someone says, I'm just so frustrated because I can't seem to get this project done, you might say, okay, so it sounds like you're feeling really frustrated because you're having a hard time getting the project finished.
Ah, okay.
It seems simple, but that simple act makes them feel truly heard and understood almost immediately.
It shows you were actually listening.
Exactly.
Okay, but this raises a really important question, I think. What if you genuinely, truly disagree with the other person's perspective or their actions?
The tricky part.
What if their emotions seem really extreme or just totally divorced from reality as you see it? Does validating them feel like enabling? Is there a line there?
That's absolutely the mastery level, isn't it? And yes, there's nuance here. The key is to consistently try and separate the emotion from the situation or the reasoning.
Okay.
Focus on validating the emotional experience itself, the frustration, the disappointment, the anger, even if you strongly disagree with why they feel that way or how they handled something.
So validate the feeling, not the story.
In a way, yes. Remember, feelings aren't always logical, right? But they are always real for the person experiencing them. Their emotional reality is what you're acknowledging, not necessarily the objective truth of the situation as you see it.
Okay. That requires some mental gymnastics sometimes.
It can. But interestingly, most people's reactions, even the ones that seem totally irrational on the surface, they often make perfect sense once you truly understand where they're coming from.
How so?
Well, if you consider their background, their fears, their hopes, maybe the limited information they have, you can usually find that kernel of understanding.
Ah.
You connect their feelings to their personality, maybe past experiences, or their core values, even if you wouldn't react the same way yourself. Find something you can genuinely understand about their reaction.
But this reminds me of that great example from one of the sources. What if, say, a coworker expresses concern, but you know they're working with incomplete info? Like, they're worried someone's underqualified, but you have more details that show they're not. How do you validate their genuine concern without agreeing with their potentially flawed conclusion?
That's exactly where this nuance shines. You can absolutely validate their concern without co-signing their conclusion.
Okay, how?
You can use phrases like, okay, I can absolutely see why you're concerned about that, or, yeah, I'd probably be concerned too if I were in your shoes and only knew that much.
So you acknowledge the feeling of concern.
Which is real for them, right?
Yeah.
Then, and this is key, after they feel heard and understood, then you can ask permission to share your perspective.
Ah, ask permission.
Yeah, I have a few additional insights on that situation if you'd be open to hearing them. It shows respect, and it makes them way more receptive to new information because they already feel validated.
That's smart. Okay, we focused heavily on validating others, but our sources also reminded us that validation can, and maybe should, also come from within. Self-validation.
Yes, absolutely crucial. Self-validation involves recognizing and, importantly, accepting your own thoughts and feelings.
Why is that so important first?
Well, it's arguably a foundational step. It's really hard to genuinely accept and validate others if you haven't learned to accept and validate yourself first.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
So it means telling yourself, okay, I have a right to feel this way, even if it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. It's about becoming the expert on your own experiences, your own emotions, allowing yourself to feel what you feel without that layer of judgment or shame.
Hmm.
It helps you respond to your own emotions with more confidence and understanding. And yeah, it's pretty essential before you can fully extend that to someone else.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for us, for you listening? Emotional validation, it's clearly a profound skill.
Hmm.
And it takes practice, patience, and really a sincere desire to connect. It's not about getting it perfect every single time.
No, definitely not. It's about the effort, the intention to make someone feel truly seen, truly heard.
Yeah.
The ultimate takeaway, I think, is that validation is really a gift. It's a gift you give someone else.
Oh, so.
It shows you care, you respect their experience, you value the connection, it deepens trust, it transforms communication, it creates those emotionally safe relationships where you can have different opinions, but explore them with respect rather than just defaulting to conflict.
That sounds like a much better way to navigate disagreements.
Absolutely.
So the next time someone opens up to you, or honestly, even when you're just wrestling with your own feelings, maybe try to pause and remember some of what we've unpacked today. It's a powerful muscle to build.
Definitely. So maybe think about this. What stands out to you about how you might approach your next difficult conversation with this new understanding? What one small thing might you try differently?